This is Party of Six, a brand new concept in business television. We have a group of 4 business leaders from the same industry getting together for a business lunch, along with 2 CNBC Africa journalists, and we let the cameras roll. There'll be revelations.
When Joe started stand-up comedy, it was still in black and white.
There's a difference with people laughing at you and laughing with you.
I think the idea of doing comedy before you do it is amazing. But once you're on stage and there's strangers, like Robbie said, staring at you, that's scary.
There'll be opinions.
The difference with stand-up compared to other live performances that you by yourself.
There is a lot of responsibility if you take it seriously. If you duff it, it's not going to cost you your career.
There'll be controversies.
Can I tell you, one of the great things about comedy in South Africa is everything is safe.
Women who do well, who are funny, they always feel like they must speak on behalf of women.
Because that's why I'm no longer a good-looking woman.
Welcome to Party of Six. South African stand-up comedy received a major boost in December 2008 with the opening of Parker's Comedy and Jive at Montecasino in 4 ways. The venue, purpose-built to showcase the art of stand-up comedy, has featured the best in both local and international comedians. Today, Party of Six is filming in Parker's at Montecasino. The development of local talent is high on the agenda for the Parker's team, so today your hosts David Williams and Nozipho Mbanjwa will be chatting to a roundtable of local stand-up comedians. So throw political correctness out the window and settle in for a good laugh.
My name's Chris. My stage name is Michael McIntyre. Some of you may have seen my DVDs. It's I speak with a slightly different accent, and I grow my hair and wear a wig for those particular gigs. My real name's Chris Forrest, not Michael McIntyre. I was a dog once, and I perform regularly here at Parker's, if you'd like to come see me. And I'd like to introduce my friend David Cow here.
Hi, my name is David Cow.
No, come
I'm
on,
very
you're not
funny.
David Cow.
All right, I'm Kidiboni Mulauti. I'm a comedian and a businessman. I run Premium Comedy SA. It's a comedy company. We manage talent.
I'm Robbie, and I'm a comedian and writer, and father of 4.
Is that funny?
They don't know he's the father, but
You're not father
what?
for.
He's
No,
not talking
I'm not
about
a
kids.
father at
Maybe
all.
he's talking about something else.
No, but I'm a comedian writer from Durban, and what else? I moved to Rosebank.
That's funny.
Yeah.
You know you've arrived in South Africa when younger people won't call you by your first name, they call you Mr. or Uncle. Yeah. No, I don't, I mean, that's when normally if you're hitting on younger women and who are Afrikaans and then they call you that is the way, that's the time.
when Joe started stand-up comedy, it was still in black and white.
No, I started in 1971. And yes, Robbie. Yeah.
Funny.
No, so there's been much water beneath the bridge, but the project that I'm involved with now is we run a comedy club. It's the only comedy club in Gauteng. I believe there's another one in Cape Town now. But we kind of, in a lot of ways, are the focal point for the public.
Like, what defines funny? How do you know that somebody is funny?
I don't have to know. If you stand over there at the bar
And your name is Julius
you
Malema.
listen to what happens between the guy on the stage and the audience, whether I find it funny or not is not important. If they enjoy it, it's funny.
Do you make people audition before they can stand on the stage?
No, they do what most guys, I think everyone has done it. Chris, I think, Kitty did 2 years of open spots before he got paid. And it means basically you get between 5 and 7 minutes on stage, and if you can entertain the audience, you can see immediately how.
So you call it the open spot, and is there huge demand for girls to come into this?
Yeah, we're booking June, July now.
If you remember back in school when somebody laughed at you, you thought you found offense in it. Because there's a difference with people laughing at you and laughing with you. It was very easy making friends laugh. Making a bunch of 200 people who have never seen you before laugh, that's completely different. And that's where so many open spots fall flat.
Kitty, how did you get over, your first moment before the trust was part of the engagement that you had with the audience, your first day on stage?
There's that excitement that, my first show, it's on now. Until, like Joe says, please welcome on stage, Kiddy, and then your heart starts racing. Like now you sweat, you get on stage. I think the idea of doing comedy before you do it, it's amazing. But once you're on stage and there's strangers, like Robbie said, staring at you, it's scary.
The difference with stand-up compared to other live performances that it's you by yourself. Like you can be in a theater, in a play with 10 other people and just say, I didn't write this thing. I was good. When I said my lines, I projected, I did everything right. The play was but with comedy, they're just like, no, this is from your head.
The problem arises when people get a bit better known. Then, you know, the egos appear and then we're not so helpful and we're a bit angry if someone else does better than us, you know. But when I think guys are starting out, there's a lot of people around to mentor. There are a lot of guys who will give you some
That's
good
why I
advice.
don't help Kitty anymore.
Because he's married. You know what's even funnier is that when Robbie is on stage and he's dying and he's not having a good time,
Which is
all the comedians.
Why am I using this example?
Okay, when Chris is on stage and he's not having a good time, like all the comedians, we feel the pain. Like it hits you even harder.
But when somebody's killing on stage, it's another type of pain.
Yes.
We are going, this guy.
My worst death was either at a corporate function that Joe booked for me, where they had retrenched half the people. They hadn't said which half. They just said half of you are getting retrenched, and the other half are relocating to Pretoria. He had to lighten the mood as a comedian. True story. And then I had to do 45 minutes with people who didn't know if they had a job or not. And then my worst club death was at a place in the UK called Up the Creek in Greenwich. And it was owned by a terrific character called Malcolm Hardy. Malcolm, because he's a bit of a nutcase, he's passed on now, if you're wondering. He went on and he said to me, is there anything you want me to say about you? I said, well, just don't mention that I'm from South Africa, because in those days, people in the UK used to not like white South Africans because they thought we were racist. He said, hello, everyone. So first act hasn't turned up, but my friend from South Africa has come through.
Wow.
No, first he did a joke. He said, Pope's going to die soon. Going to have a reality TV show to replace him. Call it Pope Idols. Anyway, first act hasn't turned up, but I've got a friend from South Africa here, and he's going to do the first spot. I was in South Africa not so long ago. I didn't know what jokes to make, so I said, why can't Stevie Wonder read or write? Because he's black. Anyway, all the way from South Africa, my South African friend, Chris Forrest. And now, and I'm not blaming him that I died, because that was just Malcolm being Malcolm.
I was at this comedy club / poetry evening. Before me, it was a poet, right? So the MC was like, skilled up for Robbie. That was beautiful poetry. And then he said, the next artist is Kidiboni Mlotz. Let's give it up for Kidiboni. Then I went on, right? Like, first joke, no one is laughing. Second joke, no one is laughing. So there was a table next to the stage, and I eavesdropped on them. And then the one lady was like, I don't get this poet. Like, his poetry. At that point, I'm like, you know what, you guys have been great, because they thought I'm a poet. So, and on my way home, because that was before I had a car, on my way home I got mugged. So yeah, it was.
It was a death night.
Yeah, so they took my 5110. So it was that was my death night.
I did a corporate. It was actually like the second corporate I'd ever done, and they had a dude box, and connected to the dude box was a mic, but the cord was this long. And there's a jukebox there, so you can't walk or anything. So I was literally just leaning up against the jukebox telling jokes. But this is a Christmas function, so everybody is just wasted, like drunk. So the lady comes to me, the organizer, is like, look, they're not liking it. So I was like, yeah, obviously. So they're not liking it, just play songs. So I was like, okay. This is what I'm telling jokes.
From comedian to DJ.
So I was like, okay, guys, we're gonna dance now. Yeah! Now they're DJing off a jukebox, but now they think that I came with this thing. I don't know. So then there's people coming up like, yo, play this song. I was like, I don't know, give me a second. So I was meant to do 30 minutes. I just ended up DJing for 30 minutes. Then I was like,
give you coins to think into.
No, it was a free jukebox, but I had to play. Then at the end of the 30 minutes, I was like, okay, cool, guys, I'm out now. I was like, yay, bye. That was it.
What about the money in the business? I mean, I have this shady pictures in my head of how you get the main guy, and I think I got that from that movie with Riyad Musa, and then you have the guys that do the open acts, and then they get the money cash, and then he gives them a little bit, here's your bit, here's your... Is that true? Is that what you do, Joe? Like in the background, like giving people money like that?
He's actually got a safe, and there's piles of 200 Rand notes everywhere, and he sometimes just throws them in the air.
the industry out there, the market, and the number of nights out there, and the different people that are running nights dictate, without saying a word, what the rate for a comedian in a comedy club is. I mean, if you are asked to go to a corporate show, I mean, that's all completely, you're booked, you get paid a damn sight more than you would if you're working in a club. In a comedy club, 20 minutes, there is a lot of responsibility if you take it seriously. If you duff it, it's not going to cost you your career. But, you know, if you're doing a corporate show, which anything up to 40 grand, guys are getting for 40 minutes, sometimes 30 minutes, you've got to do it right. So that side of it is well taken care of, and we won't mention their names yet because I'm sure SARS are going to watch this. The guys are earning a lot of money doing it, and then there's guys who are doing club work on an ongoing basis, you know, just to keep their lives together.
But also the problem is, I think, throughout South Africa, people still think it's a hobby. They don't take it as a proper profession. Like when the food's late, and they're like, just go speak for 15 minutes, please.
Yeah, you need to rest today.
If you're gonna watch, for instance, Trevor Noah, if you're gonna watch him perform for an hour and a half, all his material that he's worked for 2 years, you're gonna laugh your ass off. Then if you say, Trevor, come back out and do another half an hour, you're not going to laugh as hard because you must understand he's worked hard. That's why he's
No, but then he must refuse. It's like an opera singer. You say, I've done my
But
opera.
the problem is if you're a young comic in that situation where you've been offered 10 grand for a
then you
corporate,
feel you should.
then you're just like, it's money. If I'm not going to
And
do
you want
this.
them to call you back again.
Yeah, exactly. So,
Because the other thing is your set is also structured.
yes.
So you put in certain things in certain places to get the best.
And also you found a way to finish your set. In other words, you want to finish on a high. Then they ask you to come back and say, look, we only have like 5 minutes here. And you've got to go back and now find 5 minutes of material that's going to help them get from there to there, which is actually not good for you as a performer.
5 minutes with no laughter is the longest time.
I want to pick up on the point that he made, sorry, Kitty, just about, you know, this being seen as a hobby and not as a profession. Is that something that you deal with when you have young people who are keen to do it but are not really taking it seriously, like this is actually a career that I can have and put the work behind it?
If anybody really thinks this is a hobby, they will never get onto the paid roster, truly, because then they're not going to treat this as professionally as people who turn up on time, who are committed.
What we see is that you find that if Joe wants to do comedy but it's not serious, he'll come and be there for like a year, then disappear. When he comes back after 2 years, he starts from scratch. And he'll do like a year, then go, then he'll just keep, it's just like, you know, a vicious cycle where he's not getting anywhere. But you can see he thinks he wants to do it, but he's not really sure about it.
Got to be more serious about this comedy thing,
I'm
Joe.
sure you get it all the time after a gig where the show goes well and then people just rock up to you at the bar and they're like, you know, I can do this comedy thing. Just do.
My friends say I'm hilarious.
They've got a beer in hand and you can see they've been drinking and they just think those are the ones you actually don't want to be involved because like you'll see like a comic who sees the night going well and then he wants to just jump on and perform because it's going well. But there's a reason why it's going well. People have been booked a month before, they're prepared for it.
And there's a particular audience that they prepared for. Yeah. They know who they're talking to.
How do you gauge what's safe and what's not safe?
You don't, because
You know, can I tell you, one of the great things about comedy in South Africa is everything is safe. In this country, no one cares because they're looking there, they're sitting there and they're going, that guy's saying exactly what's going through my
To what
mind.
extent, as a white person, do you feel that if you have a black audience and you make a joke about Jacob Zuma, that you've got to follow that up with Helen Ziller?
pick me.
Yeah.
You don't. I've done a lot more work with black audiences than I think any other white comic in the country. And a lot of white guys come to me, well, not a lot, one or two. Just one dude, once. No, they'll come to me.
Not white.
And actually none, I'm just making this up. And no, but they'll come to me and they'll say, okay, I'm playing a black crowd, how do I do this?
Yeah.
And my answer is always, just do your normal thing, because they're just people. If you think Jacob Zuma is a and that's truthful, because it was what you were saying earlier, it has to be truth. As long as you're funny about it. If you just go on stage and go, hey, Jacob Zuma, he's nobody's going to laugh. But if you've got something clever about it. Yeah. Like last night in Soweto, there was about 5 or 6 guys who were EFF supporters and whatever. But I could do jokes about the EFF and about Julius Malema, and they were laughing because that's where I come from. And I didn't feel that I had to do jokes about Helen Ziller.
We all feel the same things. We might have different opinions on certain things, but we don't mind hearing the opinion. Because like Chris, I've seen Chris play a colored audience, a black audience, whatever, and people are just like, okay, cool. Like he says some things that we might not agree with, but
Which thing?
but because you know where he's coming from, you're like, I'm not going to argue this. He's got a point. He's saying something funny. That's what comedy is about.
In comedy, there are a lot of triggers. Like young comedians, when they first start out, a lot of them swear a lot. And they say this and mother that. They get a laugh, and they think that's what comedy is. It's not. It's actually because people have been, there's a trigger inside them goes, you know, that was so unexpected. Whether that's comedy or not is moot. I think, you know, that's something we could talk about for a long time.
Sometimes stereotypes are true. You know,
They're
like,
true and they're funny. It's just for me, like Tsepo Mogale was the first guy to do this. Black people
Was he the
swimming.
first one to do
The very
that?
first one.
Yeah.
first comedian, black people are doing it.
Black people were doing it for real. But he was the one who said when black people
know
get
what
out of
that
the
is,
water,
No?
they do this thing.
Afterwards, like
They don't flick their hair.
the reaction out of the pool isn't the whole. It's like,
Yeah, they're
get the
going to get all
water away
the water.
from.
That's becoming the new hack is black women with weaves and this.
Yeah, it itches.
It's funny though, still.
She's like, it's normal.
When the weave itches, you.
Because you can't scratch, because you'll rip it out. So
I see.
you'll see next time you at like ShopRite or
Just
whatever.
before the show, you must not.
Why ShopRite?
People, because Woolworths people have expensive weaves. Or like Martin Jonas was the first one to do the Cape Town hippie, like schwa, whatever, as far as I know. And he did like Mangosuthu Buthelezi, being a bit slow, and all of those things. And then you'll see for the next couple of years, it just sort of spreads and comedians go, oh, it's funny. There was a movie called Sixth Sense, and the one, I did a heavyweight comedy jam. And almost every single comic on the night did a thing about, they'd changed it from, I see dead people, they don't even know they're dead. So the one comic did, I see stupid people, they don't even know they're dumb. And the next one did, I see Muslim people. And the next one did, I see colored people, or whatever. And then eventually, bless him, the MC that night said, I see people doing the same joke.
Oh, killed.
But it just, subjects do develop that become, and that's one of the things that I get annoyed about in South African, well, I suppose in worldwide comedy.
We're in Parker's. It's in Montecasino.
Yep.
So, how did you do this? How did you put it together?
I think by the time we decided we wanted to do something in Johannesburg, we'd already had a comedy club in Cape Town. We'd opened a place called Comedy Warehouse. The first 14 years of my life as a comedian, apart from a year in the UK, I was on stage 4 hours a night, 6 nights a week. So I had already, in a lot of ways, kind of done it, you know. So when the idea came around, we started at Hurricanes in 1999. It was a great night. One night a week was just packed. Most of the guys, it was most of the people that are doing stand-up today. Yeah. And when the opportunity came to do this, you know, it was the next thing for me to do. And I've had a lot of fun. It's been incredibly stressful. It's, you know, a lot of people think we're making millions. It's hard work. It's really hard work.
It's like any other business, yeah?
Yeah, it's a business. Yeah.
Joe's always been not to blow too much smoke up his ass because I need
you might as well.
some gigs this month.
Put your
but
spin
Joe,
back.
I mean, when I started out, Joe basically took an industry that was nowhere and turned it on its head.
We are the ladies. I mean, the only woman I actually think I'm aware of who's like hilarious is Celeste, and that's only because
it's
I
Tumi
see.
Maraki.
Yeah, I
Tumi
see-
Marake, Monique Nokia.
Mark Luther.
But how are they faring? How are they faring on, like, you know, compared to the guys? What are the numbers looking like?
Look, the numbers, I will tell you, and this is once again standard correction, pretty much reflect how it is all over the world.
Yeah.
Women who do well, who are funny, I get frustrated. I was speaking to a younger comic at this other club. They always feel like they must speak on behalf of women.
It's harder because society has this ideology of what you should be. And so, especially like, say if you're a good-looking woman, half the audience is just thinking about how they want to sleep with you. Yeah. And the other half is thinking, this bitch, who does she think she is? Because that's why I'm no longer a good-looking woman. And no, but we had... many years ago, Joe might remember KCB Dolan at Hurricanes, and that was the worst set at Hurricanes I've ever
Why?
seen. Well, she started going on about how good looking she was. Her opening line was, "You're wondering how the sexiest woman in South Africa can be funny."
Oh,
And that's how to lose an audience in, what's that,
But
7 words?
I want to go back to the point that was made by Robbie about women feeling the need to represent other women.
You know what upsets me about this thing and why I brought it up? Because I've spoken to other comics about it. Like once I was performing and a lady said to me in the front audience, she's like, "Tell us about you Cape Townians." And like, I'm from Durban, first of all. Yes, don't some. And I remember getting upset with me, and she said, "Why don't you speak more about us colored people?" And this is my point of view. I don't live every day trying to be the best colored person. You know what I mean? You can't do that. Whether we've been in the struggle or whatever, you don't wake up and say, "I'm going to be the best black woman out there." No. So I'm not going to tell only colored stories because I've got my own experiences. The same thing, we go back to stories. Everyone has their own story. I'm not going to just talk about colored people.
So do you think that they being a woman overtakes being them?
Yes, I think tell us your story because we can see you have. You don't have to say that. So just tell me what you're going through. If you're telling me about your man or whatever, then we're going to be like, cool. But we know you have a man because obviously a woman. So you don't have to keep saying us woman or, you know.
Okay, can I tell you the funniest women that I've seen, you don't see that they're women.
There's a kind of licensed status that comics have. But I'm not sure, it's not because you have a license and it enables you to walk into a room. Is it because you stand on a stage in front of an audience? Is it because you're invited? Is it because someone pays you to do it? I don't know what the license is.
I know of a comedian who was at the Blues Room once, who did a joke about a particular man called Julius Malema. And Julius Malema walked into the room. And that comedian was Kitty Boni over here on my right.
seriously?
So
Yeah.
what was the reaction?
I was a bit scared because he had two. I could take him on if it was just him, you know what I mean? But no, he had
That's a challenge.
so, but he had two big bodyguards. So I thought, yeah, because I've been in trouble before. I did a joke about Orlando Pirates as well, and the owner of Orlando Pirates, Dr. Ivan Koza, opened a case against me, and I was.
Are you being serious?
What?
Yeah, I was so scared. So I thought maybe.
How offensive was this joke?
Yeah, it was hectic, dude.
Against a soccer team.
Yeah, it was hectic.
What was the joke? Did you mention that they lost 3 cup finals in 1 year?
No. The joke was that Orlando Pirates once had a coach. His name was Costa Papic. He was like Bill Clinton's twin brother, So now the joke was that every time Orlando Pirates wins a game, then the late Ivan Koza's daughter, gives him a.
She gives who the
She gives the coach. And that was ages ago. And every time they beat Swallows, she swallows. So
I attacked Nolene.
Oh.
And then,
They attacked Nolene.
yeah, well, in the joke.
What did you say about her?
First of all, let me just say, this is a joke I literally did all around the country. And it's one joke that people just lose their minds for. But I just teased, I can't even remember how it went, but it was Nolene, that Oprah is finished on TV and now he's stuck with Nolene, and Nolene's horrible, and Nolene looks like somebody eats pies. And it's just like, but it's just going one after the next, and then why do they call it 3 Talk? Because of Nolene's chins. And it's just, no, but it's just like, but it's just one after the next. And like, but this is a joke, I love doing it, and people love me doing it. Like, whenever I do it, people would tweet me after seeing me do it. Then I did it, and then Mark Lottering, who's friends with Nolene, he was like, yo, Nolene's not happy, eh? So I was like, okay, what do I do? Most of us, we act brave on stage, but we shy people off stage.
You can't, eh?
Yes, easy. And I saw her in Rosebank, and she walked past, and yo, dude, I just went into Ocean Basket. I was like, give me a table. Started ordering food. I was like, no, I don't want to.
So you didn't go talk to her and...
I was like, I don't know, because the thing is, to be honest, I'm not going to apologize for doing my job.
But comedy is a very serious business, as much as what you see on stage, the guys being able to entertain. But there's quite a lot of thought and reflection, insight goes into the life that you spend outside of comedy.
Well, thank David, Nazipo, thank you for joining us here, both of you. It's been a privilege.
really, thank you.
Here at Parker's Comedy Club at Montecasino and or Gold Reef City,
Could you also
Wednesday through Saturday.
Could you also thank yourself on behalf of us?
Thank you and me and Robbie and Joe. And it's been a great privilege seeing you guys for lunch. And I hope to see you at my one-man show in Grahamstown called Who's Your Daddy, running from the 3rd of July to the 30th.
People can know more about us. Visit premiumcomedysa.com.
Follow me on Twitter at Chris Forrest SA. And then I'll be able to tell how many people are watching this and if you really like David or not. Because if I get like no followers, then nobody likes it.
You can follow me at Robbie Collins _ Robbie with a Y on Twitter and find out where I'm performing. Thanks.
And we'd just like to mention that live comedy is a genre in this country, and we have the most amazing comedians. In fact, a pool of 90 guys, 90 guys work at this club on a regular basis. So give us a try here in Montecasino, Parker's Comedy and Drive.
That wasn't a last word, that was a last commercial break.
Yeah.